Oh yeah, y'all, we have some truck upgrades to discuss today. Welcome on back to the channel. I am right now preparing for a 3-week jaunt into the montañas. I'm talking Colorado, y'all, and we're going all over the state. I'm going to be staying up there for nearly a month, and this is the truck that's going to get me around. And on all my trucks, my last 3 or 4 trucks, I've had a cap and I've had a rack on top. But this time, on the latest adventure wagon, I decided to put a iron skillet on the top of the daggum thing because it just looks like it can hold way more stuff at a more weight distribution effectiveness, if that makes sense. We'll get into it. But I've also got a couple of tasty additions on the inside of the truck that I want to talk about. Been testing them out for a few weeks now. Anybody that has a diesel truck, I would highly recommend these things, but Banks Power sent me a couple of things. We're gonna go over those in just a second. The chickens are absolutely going nuts over here. I've got to give them their morning jog. They like to do a little morning jog, give them some grains, scratch around, and then they go make the eggs. Duck 2, eat the bugs. Eat the bad bugs, please. Oh geez, speaking of bugs, that thing almost landed on my face. Was that a stink bug? It is. Well, let's see what we got here. Oh, little Martha. So our other chickens are out here, free ranging. That's Peep, one of our Easter eggers. There's Puff, her sister. Both laying eggs now, beautiful little blue eggs. I thought you guys would be the craziest wild little raptors out of the bunch, and you've turned out to be some of the sweetest. We just like you. 2 weeks ago, not even a week ago, you could not touch this chicken. Since she started laying eggs, full transformation into a nice little sweetheart. I don't know what it is. We got a problem with Martha. She is low lady on the totem pole right now on the dream team. She's just not performing, and she has a problem with her eggs. I'm waiting to see today if she drops one and if it's okay. But her first 5 or 6 eggs we've had to throw out because they have holes in them. They're like incomplete eggs. So I think her egg gland's not fully developed. Now, little Martha, I've been very sweet to you. Been trying to feed you up, get you to get on that nice egg laying train with the rest of the team, and you're not performing. Now, what happens to non-performing chickens? Do I need to start throwing some recipes out there? Okay, cordon bleu, chicken noodle soup. Enchiladas? Okay, there's a lot of options out there, okay? And you happen to be one of the most delicious breeds of chickens for their meat, not just for their eggs. Okay, Martha? She's getting a little nervous. She's getting a little nervous talking about that. I'm gonna let her down. You gotta fatten up. You're skinny, you need to put on some weight, and you gotta start dropping some quality eggs. Yes, you girls, you're doing good work. Proud of you. Got a bonus spinach bundle for the top producer this month. Keep working, keep grinding. But anyway, that's part of the daily life here. Let's get into the truck, and let's actually start on the inside and go to the Banks modules and the accessories that we have on the inside. The first thing we're going to look at is the Banks pedal monster. I didn't even know what the pedal monster was until Banks emailed me and said, you got to have one of these for your truck. You'll just see a huge difference, and they were right. And I already knew about something called it's basically pedal lag in this truck and in other modern diesel trucks, especially the eco diesel trucks. But there's a delayed response in when you press the throttle and then the response of the engine. So what the pedal monster does is it allows you to determine the timing of that throttle. So you can make it to where it's literally like old school, where it's on a wire, you know, whoom, as soon as you hit it, the engine's gonna jump. Or you can make it in a balance. You know, there's all sorts of settings. There's 3 different modes on it, and then there's settings within that mode. So I'm gonna show you guys that. We're gonna start it up and take a test drive and all that stuff. So I wanted to start with this first because this is the last thing I need to do, is just kind of tuck this thing away and zip tie it. Just make it nice and pretty. But this has been connected up to my truck for a few weeks now. This wire is going up to the iDash. I'll show you guys that in just a minute. But you just take this right here. This plugs in It's dark in here, I know. It's kind of hard to see, but at the top of, on my truck specifically, at the top of my foot pedal, there is a little connection that connects to the computer that goes to the engine and tells it how to respond to this. So this isn't like an old school engine where this is connected to a wire. It's all done by a computer. So what this does, what the pedal monster does, you just replace that plug with the one that comes with it. It has a male and female in, and then you run that to this device, and it allows you to totally adjust the throttle response according to how you want. So the pedal monster actually does not give you any more horsepower, any more torque, anything like that. It actually just adjusts that timing. So if you've ever been driving your vehicle and, you know, maybe you're going up a hill and you're pressing gas, or maybe you're trying to pass another car and you're pressing it, and it's like 4 seconds later, then it downshifts and then it goes. Well, this can basically make it immediate. So as soon as you press, it just goes. It's really nice. And I've noticed it's especially nice for towing. You just don't have to work as hard. Keep working that gas pedal to get it to downshift. It'll just do it with the slightest movements, and you can adjust that movement as much as you want. Next thing we got in the adventure wagon that connects to that pedal monster and then comes up to the dash is the iDash. This module right here, when I cut the truck on, it turns on whatever it recognizes RPMs, and it gives any readout that you can think of that the truck will put out. So instead of me sitting here and just kind of explaining what all this thing does, I think the easiest thing to do is just show you. Let's fire it up. And then we should see the iDash come on. This basically just suction cups to the window. I haven't done a super clean install on this. Like if you wanted to completely tuck this, you could, but any vehicle that has one of these ports right here, so if you've got one of these, I think it's called an OD2 port, something like that, you can plug the iDash into it. We have got to go get some diesel, my friends. So we're gonna head to the Buc-ee's and go get us some, and along the way, I'm gonna show you what this thing actually reads out and how cool it is to watch what your truck or vehicle is doing. First thing that's popping up on the iDash is it's telling me I got a low fuel level, which is actually appearing before it even does on my truck dash. And one thing I like about that is I can get a more exact fuel readout on the iDash, so I can know how many miles I've got left until I'm actually going to run out of gas, whereas the truck, once it gets below I think it's 50 miles, then it just says low, so you don't know exactly. So any sort of information that your truck is going to put out to you, you can pull up on the iDash, and that includes error codes, you know, things that are going wrong with your trucks. I've got a lot of those. It'll actually tell you what the problem is, because it's plugging into that port. That's the same thing that the mechanics and the technicians are going to plug into and see what those codes are. So you can see those and diagnose those before you even take your truck into the shop. You know, give your technician a heads up. Say, hey, I'm getting this code. You know, maybe they can go ahead and order the part or something for you. I don't know. It might speed up that process of you getting your truck back faster, so I like that fact. One of the main things that I find outstanding, and the truck honestly should tell you this by itself. I can't believe that it doesn't. The iDash will tell you when your truck is gonna go through a regen. So a regen on a diesel, y'all, if you've got a new diesel truck, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But you never want to stop your truck when it's going through one of those cycles. You want to let it burn through completely. So right now it's telling me I'm at 58%. When that reaches 100%, that's when that regen trigger is going to cut on, and I know that my truck is going through a regen cycle. And you can actually watch. Oh, the truck's going to cut on again. Here we go. You can actually watch your engine exhaust temperatures go up. You can see that it's burning off that excess. So I think it's good to know exactly where you are through that regen cycle, and you can just keep driving, burn that excess off. Just gotta pull in here and get a little diesel at the Buc-ee's real quick. Back in action. Start her up again. iDash comes on. So you can flip through these different settings, and you can say, I think it's 5 different pages, custom pages, and you can kind of adjust things. You can literally adjust every little thing. But right here on this setting, this is monitoring the pedal monster, and this allows you to adjust your power as well. So I'm in city right now. I can adjust this. I can keep going up. Sport. And when I do that, y'all, I mean, it is like, track is insane. Track is basically like I talked about, having a wire, like an old school wire that goes straight to the throttle. That's what this would be like. So just kind of give you an example here. I normally keep it midway through the city setting. I think this right here, the tires might come out from under me on this one. Oh yeah. Like it is just straight response when it is on track. So if you've got a serious diesel and you've made a lot of modifications and you really want to squeal the tires and just make it easier on yourself, this would be the setting right here. I mean, I'm barely pressing it and it is just whoa going. Let's turn that back down. Just give her a little gas right here. You guys can see where the stock performance would be, the stock throttle response versus the pedal monster response. So at the setting that I have it on right here, it's probably about 20% above stock performance. So I've been playing around with the iDash for a few weeks. I love it, and I've got it on an 8-gauge system. I want to see as much as possible what is going on. But I asked them, I said, well, you know, hey, what are the best categories, the best readouts for monitoring a diesel? And right now I've got it on RPM, so you can see your exact RPMs, and you can just take mental notes of when, you know, you're getting the most power at certain RPMs and whatnot. It's just more specific than your actual analog gauge. Manifold air density, that's on both gasoline and diesel engines. That's like a true performance monitor, so you can see the exact density inside of the manifold. My engine has a turbo on it, so I thought it'd be cool to monitor when that turbo's kicking in and adding that additional pressure, so I can see that. I can see my horsepower, and it's really neat to see like the horsepower as you're driving. And I've towed with this thing a bunch. Very interesting to watch that. A couple other categories I think are cool for diesels. You can monitor your torque, so you can see how much torque that your engine is requiring or commanding. So what I find fascinating is watching the torque versus the horsepower. So there's times like when I've had my boat towing up a hill and the engine is asking for more torque than the horsepower. But you see the horsepower go up a little bit, then you'll see the torque ramp up to like 100%, and it's not shifting any gears. That's what's really neat. You're putting all that torque into that gear and it just keeps tugging it. It's really cool. I've just learned a lot having it, quite honestly. So Banks didn't sponsor this video or anything, but I just want to give a shout out to them because they have been watching my videos, saw the videos on my truck, and they seem really interested in these smaller diesels as well, so that's why they wanted to create this pedal monster for this specific truck, and they just came out with it. So they're available. I'll leave a link for them if you guys want to check them out. You can do your own homework on Banks. Whee! Nice thing about these two things, you can install them in 30 minutes. There's no tools required. It's just very simple, plug and play. Even I can do it, and I know nothing about working on diesel trucks. So a couple of gizmos to make the adventure wagon plug away a little better, and let me also show you guys what's on top of this thing to help with cargo tremendously. Well, I've let it cool off to about a crisp 98 degrees outside. Got a little shade, so I'm not just killing myself out here. While I was at Buc-ee's, I got one of these jugs, racing jugs. I thought to myself, with these little indentions right here, this would be perfect to strap down inside of the bed of the truck or even on top. You can even put water in one of these. I think I'm going to end up putting diesel in here so I can have 5 gallons extra of diesel while I'm on the road. I was going to do a fancy jerry can holder on top of the Pioneer rack system and all that and get fancy, but dadgum, it's expensive. This was like 30 bucks, and I'm most likely going to be throwing a kayak and some other stuff on top of there, which I'm going to show you here in just a second. There's two very, very large bags. Got to carry enough stuff for my whole family initially. They're going to meet me up later. It's going to be an absolute buttload of things, and I'm most likely going to be testing the 300-pound loadout capacity of this rack that's on top. But let's look at an example of how this thing is going to work out during camping season. Let's step up here and check it out. Grab on to the platform, here we go. So up here we've got our duffies. These have got our sleeping pads, our sleeping bags, just a lot of extra camping gear that's not extremely heavy but takes up a lot of space. I've got a real big husky crate that I just slide into the bed that's got the cots, and it's got the main tent, and it's got a few other things in it, tarps and whatnot. I keep that in there because it's super heavy. It's probably 250 pounds. But the pads I usually keep in the back of my truck, and they take up like the whole back seat. So this is perfect, and they're not too heavy. Right, just strap those babies down. We also have a cooler right here. So I got a mid-size cooler. I can also use this as storage. This is a cheap one from Academy, but it's got little holes right here so you could ratchet it down onto the platform. The whole reason I wanted this platform is just so much more square inches that you can utilize to put stuff on it and ratchet it down securely. So we've still got, you know, our underbelly typical rack. There's your bar right there. But with this platform right here, I can fill up all this whole square footage. You know, I could put a kayak on this side, I could do other stuff on this side. So I'm definitely gonna make it arrangeable where when I go on different trips, I can switch things in and out, and that's what's real nice about this. This is made by Rhino Rack. My dad has a Rhino Rack, he likes it. I decided to try this one. It's pretty pricey. I think this whole system right here was around 2,100 bucks, but I just haven't had a truck without a rack system in a while, and I thought this was the cat's pajamas, so hopefully it'll be worth the money. And you know, they'll sell you a bunch of extra doodads. You slide in here and you can do all sorts of stuff. You can customize this however you want, but that's basically the platform, how you use it. Then like I said, you know, you got your jerry can or water jug, whatever, you can stick that up there out of the way. But as an additional little nice feature, having it up here like this, I've got actually another jug that has a valve, and you can twist that valve. You could use that to, you know, take a shower, wash dishes, brush your teeth, or whatever. Maybe wash your bloody hands after you kill an elk, huh? Hopefully that's what's gonna happen. And then lastly, you know, I've got a solar panel up here, and just miraculously, this thing fits in these little grooves, just all nice like, where you could set this up here and really get it angled at your camp and really get some sunbeams coming in and energizing your jackery unit. This also has some reinforced ringlets on the side, so you could take some paracord or take some hooks and hang it off the platform itself. If you're getting some morning sun, you know, this midday, and you could also just set this puppy flat. Set her flat down for that midday sun, and then you're really charging up. So that puppy right there is going to be getting a ton of use with the life of the truck. I just love having a truck cap. I love having the rack. It is so useful. I like to avoid a trailer. Having another set of axles or 2 or 3, that's just more problems that can happen, especially when you're in hairy places. If you can put everything inside of a truck, on top of the truck, and then it's easily accessible to and almost becomes part of the camp, and it can be advantageous, as I think this is, then I think it's extremely useful and not just a showy thing. If I could complain, just a few things, Rhino Rack. This thing should just come with a couple of rings, a couple of cleats, something, because I mean, they're like 50 bucks for a couple of rings, maybe even more than that, like 100. But a lot of their accessories are just super pricey. You can get a typical ratchet strap up under here, But just the way they have this system with so many different cleat tracks, or just tracks to put all sorts of accessories. I mean, you could throw a couple of rings in the box and it probably wouldn't hurt production costs too bad. So if you have a decent garage and you're okay at doing some machining, you could probably make some little inserts to go into this track, and it's really similar to the M-LOK. The M-LOK sort of connection, if y'all are familiar with that. So y'all, I think the adventure wagon just stepped it up a little bit and it's ready to get out in the woods, and hopefully it's gonna have some antlers and a lot of fish on top of it. And we get to monitor the performance of everything while we're cruising on down the road. I don't know about y'all, but I'm looking forward to looking at some furry things out in the woods instead of just slobbery old summer scales. Anyways, y'all, thank you for tuning in to all the episodes. If you want to check out more around here at the tree house, more chicken, whatnot, family stuff, Lake Life Family Channel, link down below. And I hope wherever you are, you're having a blessed adventure out in the woods or water somewhere. And the best of luck to you. God bless you. See you soon. Martha, what you doing here? Oh, dadgum, Martha. Martha laid an egg with no shell. Oh, little sugar booger. I think you're gonna get cut from the team, and I hate to tell you what that means. Y'all pray for Martha.